In early February, the US politely let a Chinese spy balloon fly across the country, and when it was done with its spying, dispatched F-22s to shoot it down over the sea off North Carolina. Why the US military let this happen is somewhat of a mystery. One theory is that Biden is kowtowing to China, perhaps even blackmailed by the Chinese regime. But another is that the US military and government wanted to study the balloon or even learn how to hack into its systems, so they allowed the flight. Or it was even to let the public see the Chinese threat with their own eyes, because the threat of a war with China is looming. And many amateur photographers did capture images of the balloon as it flew across the country.
Right now, there is a ground stop on our airport, and this thing is up in the sky. I have no idea what it is. It's been there stationary for about the last 35 minutes.
Even the eventual takedown of the balloon was witnessed by a bunch of rednecks having a tailgate party.
Oh yeah! Woo! Here we go, baby! Get him! Yeah!
Yeah! I just heard the boom. Yeah, you see shiny stuff.
In the following days, after fine-tuning radar systems to look for similar slow-moving objects, the US found several more.
They tracked 3 unidentified objects, one in Alaska, Canada, and over Lake Huron in the Midwest.
Biden then dispatched Team America, experts in shooting at stuff, to shoot down these objects.
America, what you gonna do when we come for you now? It's the dream that we all share.
The ones over Alaska were certainly aliens, about the size of a car, they had no visible propulsion systems, and apparently interfered with the sensors on the aircraft sent to shoot at them. Aliens. But that's not what President Biden thinks.
Is that these 3 objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation, or research institutions.
And according to the New York Post, one of them may have been a hobby balloon that cost just $12. Yet we used a missile that costs $400,000 to shoot it down.
Yeah, you see shiny stuff.
So how much of taxpayers' money did the US spend in their week of target practice? That's what we're going to find out on this episode of Dirty Money. After we courteously let it fly over our sensitive ballistic missile bases in Montana and it was out over the open ocean, we sent an F-22 Raptor from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia to shoot it down. Now, F-22 Raptors are expensive. Time magazine estimated in 2013 they cost $68,000 per hour to operate, but that included a load of overheads and logistical costs as well. So for the figures in this video, I'll be going from this document from the Office of the Secretary of Defense in 2019, where hourly costs that the Department of Defense must reimburse each branch of the military for each type of aircraft are listed. The F-22 Raptor costs $36,455 per hour. We'll round it down to just $36,000. Since Langley is pretty close to where the balloon was shot down, I'm guessing the plane wasn't on the mission for more than an hour. Then let's add in the cost of the missile, which is an AIM-9X Sidewinder. We're not sure which version of this missile it was, but one variant is a training missile, so out of the remaining 2 variants, one costs $381,000 and the other $399,000. Let's go with the $399,000 one since it's the most advanced one. So with the operating cost of the F-22 and the missile shooting down China's original balloon cost at least $435,000. Now there may have been other costs that I'm not including here, such as support aircraft monitoring the balloon, but we've given you the rough idea. Alright, moving on to the next one. On February 10th, the US Air Force sent out another F-22 to shoot down what they described as an object over Alaska. Now this one sounds like more of a mission since the day before they actually sent out aircraft, apparently 2 F-35s to track the object. This is the one where the pilot said it interfered with their sensors. So let's just guess that 2 F-35s were sent out and they spent 3 hours tracking the object. These aircraft are a bit cheaper to run, a mere $17,000 per hour. At that rate, the reconnaissance mission cost $102,000. Then a pair of F-22s were sent out the next day to shoot it down with the same $399,000 missile. If they spent 1 hour in the air, plus the missile, that adds $471,000 to our total. Look, we're over $1 million already. Then around the same time, another object showed up moving across Alaska. This time, 2 F-22s were sent up to track it, and they followed it overnight into Canadian airspace, with KC-135 tankers from the Air National Guard providing refueling. These tankers cost about $13,000 per hour to operate. So if we had 2 F-22s and a KC-135 flying all night and then into the next day, let's say 12 hours, and then one of the F-22s shoots a $399,000 missile at the object, that adds another $1,419,000 to our total. And that's the one that was possibly a $12 hobby balloon from the Northern Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade. A balloon equipped with a GPS tracker launched by the club reported its last position over Alaska at 38,000 feet on February 10th, and according to meteorological data, should have been blown by the wind over the Yukon in western Canada by the next day, the exact time the US Air Force shot down the object. Alright, let's move on to the last one, an object over Lake Huron in Michigan that was at 20,000 feet and was supposedly octagonal with strings hanging off it. Here's an artist's impression. Anyway, this object was shot down by an F-16, which costs about $8,000 an hour to fly. But with this one, the F-16 actually missed its first shot, so they ended up using 2 Sidewinder missiles, each costing just under $400,000. So when we add together, say, an hour of flight time and 2 missiles, we add $806,000 to the total, bringing us to $3,233,000 for the week. So I know this isn't the real number. If you factor in all of the overheads and support costs, etc., the actual number could be 3, 4, even 5 times more expensive than what we are quoting here. But at least you get to see how much the US military is actually being billed per hour for these aircraft and the cost of the missiles. It's over $3 million. It lets you know how much money is being wasted on party balloons. I mean, I guess the Chinese spy balloon was worth it, although it would have been great if they'd shot it down here rather than here. But what do you think? Is it funds well spent, or is it dirty money? Please comment down below and subscribe so you don't miss new videos every Monday and Thursday.